Good evening. Welcome to Military Strategies. We are live right now, February 10th, 2026. Yesterday, we experienced both happiness and sadness on the same day within the same soul. Juan Pablo Guanipa. We still don't know where he is, and last night Diosdado Cabello made a fatal mistake that's going to cost him something more than his freedom. Of more than 800 political prisoners who remain in Venezuela right now, kidnapped tonight. Military strategies. It's the voice of Venezuela. It's the voice of freedom. Family, your likes, your comments. Let's free Venezuela. Let's begin. Good evening, family. Welcome to Military Strategies. We are live right now. February 10th, 2026, here in Spain. Are you still on the 9th? I think you are. Over there on the other side of the Atlantic. What a sad day. What a tough day. And the worst part is that nobody knows where Juan Pablo Guanipa is. A true hero who, after spending time, so much time, even a minute, would be too much. In a Chavista Oliverian prison, he decided to come out, raise his fist, and tell the world, we will not give up. We want freedom. Guanipa. Yesterday, he was kidnapped in an operation that has drawn a lot of attention. Orchestrated directly by Diosdado Cabello, the darkest figure of the regime, the one who pulls the strings from the shadows. They took Guanipa on the very day when there was a lot of talk about his elimination. Possible extraditions to the United States of America are being discussed. It was hinted that the distance between Cabello and Rodriguez is greater than the ocean that separates Spain from Venezuela. Cabello was making a more political decision. An intelligent one. Does Cabello know that if he keeps the key piece right now, which could be Guanipa, he can guarantee his life? The United States is aware of what has happened, of what has occurred. Cabello spoke today, and in addition to that, he has been commenting on things. He has been saying things. We'll watch it live here and stay attentive to what's happening. Sending a big hug to our friends in Venezuela and those who have been kidnapped. I know you are watching us. Thank you very much. Also to our friends from Guanipa for that raid. Great work by Gaston and Mar. And today I'm here to share things that are happening not only in Venezuela, but also around Venezuela. Things we haven't had the chance to see until now, or that hadn't started happening until now. But they are happening, and this is making Diosdado Cabello and all these people very nervous. Images like this, what you're seeing right now, which I've had the chance to see in person, well, obviously I've seen something similar. A narco submarine, a kind of semi-submersible, was stopped and seized jointly by the United States and Colombia. Petro. Since the visit to the White House, things have gotten much tougher for the cartels in Colombia, the Gulf Cartel. Impressive. This operation was carried out. A large amount of substances that were being dismantled have been seized, with an approximate value of $441 million. The regime doesn't like this, they don't like it. 10 tons for arrested. And the boat at the bottom of the sea. I've seen one in person, I've seen it in El Salvador, it's impressive to see. I'll explain more about this later. But there are also statements apparently from Marco Rubio. We'll look for them in a few minutes about what's happening right now in Venezuela. Thank you. Right now in Venezuela, Marco Rubio, it's tremendous. Last night when I was leaving the live broadcast, I said it's a very strange movement that they release Guanipa and then suddenly, out of nowhere, they capture him again, they kidnap him again. No one says or explains anything. The same day people were talking, it was being said that Diosdado could be captured soon and taken to the United States of America. Same day, same moment. Well, yes, it is happening. It's going on. What happened with Guanipa minutes earlier? Before being captured again, he wasn't conducting an interview where he wasn't alone, he was accompanied by his son. It seems so, and a number of other people. And these guys showed up and took them away like cowards. They seized the moment when Guanipa wasn't fully surrounded or guarded by everyone. We see it around here.
What happened on July 28 had already happened. I go back to talking about being underground. Did they arrest you? How do you deal with personal pain when what exists is Guanipa?
I was giving this interview.
In seeking reconciliation, in trying to make up for lost time with your children, in not hardening yourself, in not normalizing what you've been through. Where's the challenge, Juan Pablo? Yes.
Look, I would say that the very first thing is the family issue. I think that's my first responsibility.
And obviously they've gone after what hurts the most, the family issue. His son has spoken again today. And now we're going to watch the video. We're going to see the details of the story. Because it's incredible. It's incredible. Maria Corina has also spoken. There has been important information. And Marco Rubio. Talked about this. Has talked about a glimmer of hope for Venezuela. But here's the problem. The problem is called Diosdado Cabello.
Justice works. Let justice work, and justice is working. That's proof that justice is working. People used to say, even opposition groups, this guy went crazy, right? Isn't he crazy?
Talking about Guanipa, saying that he's crazy, that he had gone crazy for leaving. Well, just imagine when they have you locked up, you go all out. What exactly did he say at this press conference? Because there was a press conference today, he also did it in a striking place. He did it in Carlota. Let's use satellite images so people can see where this press conference took place. Is the press conference of the United Socialist Party of Venezuela, the party of the Chavistas. Diosdado, in addition, is the spokesperson and chief or president. Then there's Dursey, who was put there by the United States, and with Diosdado, they don't want to talk much. They only say what's strictly necessary. But Donald Trump still hasn't spoken out. Donald Trump still hasn't said anything. Guanipa needs to be released, but there hasn't been anything official. Diosdado is taking Nicolas Maduro's path. It's either me or chaos. Either Maduro or chaos, or... And the United States? He said, well, neither chaos nor Maduro. The solution is clear, very clear. If Diosdado Cabello is thinking of using Guanipa as a human shield, that's what I'm thinking in my analysis. I've been thinking all day, why are they doing this to Guanipa? They don't do this to anyone else, only to him. Cabello has been giving the conference, the press briefing, at La Carlota. Here at this military base, we know that Granco Arteaga, also has his operations base there. We talked about it a few shows ago. We said it, we mentioned it, that Granco Arteaga had his operations base inside this military facility, where he is supposed to have kidnapped Guanipa. It's near Los Coros, this neighborhood we see around here. This is where that interview with Guanipa was taking place, where these guys showed up and took them away. No one has seen anything around the city, although Caracas is very big. People would have quickly noticed any military convoy or anything like that, but no one noticed anything. La Carlota is very close. I insist. Now, this is not about taking Guanipa to the helicoid, but about hiding him and keeping him close. In case the United States of America decides to eliminate Nicolas, well, no. In this case, Diosdado Cabello, they have taken him away. They have taken him away with Maduro. What does he think? Diosdado Cabello. He is seen as the strong man within the country. He sees himself as the real president. He is seen as the one who can make the crucial decisions. Delcy hasn't spoken out. Delcy hasn't come out to say anything. And she's the one who should come out and explain. She hasn't said anything. And we're going to see it. What he has said, the sinister one.
The service received credentials from the ambassadors of Qatar, Italy, and Nicaragua. So we gave some statements. She did, Jorge Rodriguez and myself. By the way, this one here is not me.
This one here is not me. This is in relation to the rumors we've been seeing these past days, especially in the last 48 hours, that I had been kidnapped, that I was dead. What we always hear when we hear those rumors, okay? Here they're making fun.
I'm currently in Barajas.
I'm in Barajas. Barajas is the airport in Madrid.
I went to Barajas Airport with Freddy Bernal. He's with me. This isn't me.
And he has taken Bernal. This isn't me, he says.
Just in case, I want to make it clear. All of this is achieved with artificial intelligence and some images we left last year.
He's making fun because people were saying yesterday that he had been arrested.
But that's not me.
Don't tell anyone!
It's back to the usual hair. Diosdado? Little by little, he's regaining his self-confidence. He must have said something to the United States like, hey, be careful if I leave. Things are going to happen that you won't be interested in. Negative situations will occur that you don't want to happen. Now, I'm really the boss inside Venezuela, not him. Yes, I think this is where the war is. The United States is offering $25 million for him, no more and no less. The reward could be claimed at any time.
He had a meeting with the oil companies Rexol and Morelli Prom, the first national meeting of communal economy. That was truly extraordinary.
Now he's going to spend a couple of minutes there talking about stories, nonsense. We're going to move on to the part that interests us.
Thank you all.
Por Venezolana de Televisión.
Thank you, thank you. Who is going to write the message that the party sends to the opposition?
Que se le otorgó el
Is that Portuguese color going to write it? Who?
medidas cautelares para ello. Gracias.
Is he asking? The one from the Chavista television is asking, what is the message you have for those who have been released? And are they speaking out and raising their hand and their voice against the regime? Those who have been released because they were kidnapped are asking for freedom. They're asking for democracy. They're asking for Chavismo to step aside, and they're also asking for coexistence. What does Diosdado say about this? That's where the key is. Yesterday, they felt a lot of fear when they saw people taking to the streets.
Since October, in November, President Maduro ordered a review of the cases. The review of cases of people who were detained for having committed crimes. In December of 1924 and 1931, while some were celebrating the justice system, they were working so that people could go and bring some joy to their families. That was done. We don't advertise that because that's not the idea, because we don't do this for publicity.
Are you saying that Maduro was the mastermind behind what we're seeing now, the releases? That this was already prepared by Nicolas Maduro?
It was carried out without any kind of problem. What happened against Venezuela took place on the early morning of the 2nd, the early morning of the 3rd, the attacks against our country, treacherous attacks, the kidnapping of the president and the acting president. He didn't hesitate at any moment. That continued to be done. Have they left?
He's trying to cover up the fact that the releases are the result of Nicolas Maduro's work, that they're just following in his footsteps. The work agenda that had already been proposed was put forward by Maduro. With this, they want to distance themselves from what's being said within Chavismo, that you've sold out to the United States of America, that you no longer represent Chavismo, that you're traitors. They are saying that they are following Nicolas Maduro's instructions before he was captured.
897 people. 897. Nothing had happened. They went out, they met with their family until the enlightened stupidity of some politicians. They thought they could do whatever they wanted and stir up trouble in the country by violating the very conditions under which they were given freedom.
He himself, look, what Diosdado is saying is that he is acknowledging some politicians. He is referring to Guanipa. Listen carefully to what he is saying. Some politicians, they are admitting that they have put people in jail because of their political ideology. They are admitting that in Venezuela, there are political prisoners because of their ideology. It's just shamelessness, total shamelessness, and complete lack of character. Listen.
897, nothing had happened. They went out, they met with their family, until the enlightened stupidity of some politicians.
Some politicians believed. Some politicians, that is, those who raised their hand against him.
They said they can do whatever they want and mess up the country, violating the very conditions under which they are being given freedom. So it's no longer 897.
The conditions under which people who were kidnapped are being given freedom in trials that are illegal, and some haven't even had a trial.
Now it's 896 because one person was detained again for violating the conditions under which they were released. Calling people to the streets, calling on this country that wants peace. It's an opportunity that's being given to them. Look, I'll give you an example. Here are some comrades from whom...
Here you are seeing what he fears. Pay attention to this part when he says this is what he fears, that people go out into the streets.
96, because one person was detained again for violating the conditions on which Guanipa, which once, was released.
All right, with this, it's good that he says it because now anything that happens to Guanipa is his responsibility. He is acknowledging that Juan Pablo Guanipa has been detained, that he is under the control of his district by his barbarians. Anything that happens to Guanipa is God's responsibility. And given Cabello,
calling, well, to the streets calling, this country wants peace.
That's what he fears, that people take to the streets to protest, that people take to the streets to protest, and from there it all collapses. Chavismo. Is he giving you the key to how to overthrow the regime in Venezuela?
It's an opportunity that's being given to them. Look, I'll give you an example. Here are some comrades from February 4th.
He thinks he's God for giving an opportunity to a free being, someone who is born free.
Here they are. On April 19th, 1997, they met with Commander Chavez there in Carabobo. Right, Irie, right, Freddie, you were there too. Who else was at that meeting? Luis Reyes, surely. And there it was decided which path to take. And Commander Chavez said, no more use of weapons. We're going the electoral route. Some didn't agree, others did, but it was put to a vote, and by majority it was decided to go the electoral route. And what did Commander Chavez do? He went out to the streets, got involved in politics.
Who has gone out with weapons in these last 72 hours? The ones who were with Guanipa were carrying weapons. They had rifles, they had pistols. No, actually, they took Guanipa away because there was no security with him. No one was armed. The people were going out to protest, to ask for freedom, not even to protest. They were asking for freedom. And Diosdado is telling us something completely different.
To go out into the streets to do politics. And it was an election. I remember that before there was an election, and he said, for now, not for any constituent assembly. Right, because that was Commander Chavez's main proposal. And under disadvantageous conditions, there really were disadvantageous conditions, Commander Chavez went to an election.
I don't know about the disadvantageous conditions. In elections like last year, when Maria Corina couldn't run, they had to put up Edmundo instead. They had to form a sort of coalition. Maria Corina was prohibited. She was prohibited from running. I don't know if that's what he's referring to. Also, it's unbelievable what he's saying here. And Asti, that's another one of his blunders when he knows it's a lie.
He won, and he knows why he won, because he had the people's votes. To win elections, all you need are the people's votes.
The people voted for Edmundo and for Maria Corina, and they didn't want to leave. And Delcy's quiet, right? She has distanced herself, said she doesn't want to know, so let's see what Delcy has done today.
No social media, no screens, no money. It's the people's votes. Salaroma has a lot of money, or had, and all the oligarchy of this country supported him, and he lost, and he lost. Why? Because he didn't have the people's votes? And we went the democratic way, all of us, these people, not them. When they lose elections, then they call for insurrection and call for madness and want to drag.
Who has called for insurrection?
¿Quién ha llamado a la insurrección?
Guanipa has said that there must be coexistence. Chavismo has to coexist. But things have to be done right, and what has happened must be acknowledged. It must be acknowledged that the Chavistas lost the elections. He hasn't said anything about violence. At no point has he said, let's go out into the streets to hunt Chavistas or lock them up. Guanipa hasn't said anything like that. What is Diosdado saying? He's just scared, Diosdado. What he's doing with this is buying time. Is he just trying to last 3 years until Donald Trump leaves, hoping someone else with new ideas will persuade him?
To bring the rest of the people in this country that wants peace and tranquility, the public ministry, making use of a justice system that works. You violated the measures on which that decision was made, and the revocation was requested before the court, and that works, doesn't it?
But they wrote a letter where they didn't even put the name Juan Pablo Guanipa. They put Juan Carlos.
Ah, yes. What happens is that there are people who think they're the big cheese. And they're not. They think they're untouchable.
That's what's happening to Diosdado. He thinks he's untouchable.
Let justice work. Let it work. Then they change from the face of arrogance and stupidity to the straw face they've always had. And then justice works.
It's terrible. If people don't go out anymore in Venezuela, these people are never seen. Never. There's a complicated and serious issue here. Video. What Marco Rubio or Donald Trump is telling them, to them, it's more or less just more of the same. They have found that as long as they are sending oil to the United States and there isn't active repression in the streets with a lot of visible violence, they will stay in power. He is threatening the rest of those who have been released. He is coercing the freedom of expression of thousands of families. And all of this is being done by a guy who thinks he's untouchable. Let's see how long that lasts.
Justice is working. Justice is functioning. That's proof that justice is working. People used to say this, even opposition groups. Did he go crazy or not? He's been crazy his whole life. They act like that because they think they're superior to everyone else.
Is he describing himself?
I remember that once Commander Chavez called for dialogue meetings, and one was held in Zulia. And we, the governors at that time, were sitting there, and we were sitting in a gymnasium, and he arrived late. That same person arrived late and stood in front of everyone because he was the big shot. That's how they are, and they keep running into obstacles. So what we're asking is for you to understand that this is an opportunity that life is giving you.
Do they think they're God? We're sparing your lives. We're giving you a chance so you can breathe. You have no right to speak. We run the country. That's the message of a tyrant. That's how a tyrant speaks. You can't say this. If you say it, you're dead. Thank you all.
If you want to do politics, do politics. No one is going to deny your right to do politics. But if you want to burn this country, to set this country on fire, will the justice system work? We have no qualms about saying that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for Benevision. Liz Flores.
Look, that's how things stand. What are we watching? There's more. Let's do a recap of what Diosdado's saying. Thank you First, he acknowledges that they've kidnapped Guanipa. Second, he admits there could be more arrests. Everything depends on how those who have been released act. I understand that most of them from Maria Corina's team have immediately gone underground again because they're going to be persecuted again for the same things they were doing before being kidnapped, for demanding rights and freedoms for the people of Venezuela. Here, none of them has come out with a weapon in hand saying, let's fight against Chavismo. No one has come out with a saber and sword in hand saying, we're going to bury them all. Those are things from them, from Chavismo, not from the opposition. Thank you. Let's stop there and watch this. Let's see what Guanipa's brother has said.
Well, since yesterday when we found out that he had been detained again and the way he was detained, which has already been explained by Ramon, his son, we started trying to find out his whereabouts. There has been information telling us that he is indeed in Mari Perez. Today my wife went to take food Ramon. They also told her he wasn't there. Then they told us again that he is there, but there is no official information about it. And we are waiting not only to get news, but also for him to be released again, as should happen in the next few hours. That's what we hope, but we don't have any official information about it.
What do you think about what was said?
Brother?
Well,
They are talking about a place that is not a prison. It's the Mari Perez Police Command, which has in the there, it's said that Augusto Sandino Avenue is where Guanipa could be. Where could they have taken him? Let's look for where that place is. Let's go to the map to understand a bit where Guanipa could be. In this area could be the place where Guanipa is.
Let's take a look at it.
There had been a lot of talk that he could be in Fuerte Tuna, that he could be held inside the military base, that he could be in a bunker. It doesn't seem like it was an operation orchestrated by Delcy. I'm serious. This was Diosdado, who controls the police. He told me, I'll take him.
It seems like it, huh?
We're viewing photos of the place. He didn't take her to a penitentiary. He took her there. Let's see. Please stop saying they released him. Can you stop saying nonsense? There are many Chavistas in the chat, please. Zero tolerance, okay? We don't mess around with these things here. Juan Pablo Guanipa is one of the most important representatives and supporters of Maria Corina Machado's team in Venezuela. One of the most prominent, one of the most important emerging political figures within the movement. He could be a future president of Venezuela among the proposed candidates. And they've taken him here.
An area is
A little isolated, it's near the mountain. There's probably a bunker underneath for security. They have some kind of underground facility. They could have Guanipa there. They could have him. That's what the relatives themselves are saying. And that's what Guanipa's son is talking about.
Yes, I definitely think that's the regime's intention. However, as I said at the beginning, if we as Venezuelans start to see speaking out as a crime and we never speak, then when does the dictatorship end? The dictatorship ends when you decide it's over. And freedom is also a will, and it's also a decision. We can't be free just because someone else told us so. We are free from the moment we decide to be. So my father can't be a criminal, he can't be blamed, he can't be taken out of context simply because he went out to make a statement.
So what kind of politics will we have? If there is no freedom of expression, if there is no a place, a space where one can express oneself freely? What is left? What's left in this story? Is there anything left of freedom for us? How tremendous.
It's very, very tremendous. What is happening?
Horrible, very, very horrible. Maria Corina.
Is her whereabouts known? Does that seem to you to imply that there are dissensions within the regime? Is something happening where there's not even a message about being able to control certain groups? And the second question I would like to ask you, Maria Corina Machado, is all this affecting your plans to return to Venezuela?
Well, first of all, I was in contact with Juan Pablo himself yesterday. As soon as he got out, we talked. It was very emotional for both of us. And throughout the day, I was in contact with his children. And last night, as soon as we had the information, I was with Ramon. And indeed, this shows that it is a criminal regime. That's its essence, and that's what we need to understand. These steps that have been taken are the result of real external pressure from the United States government. And we thank the President of the United States, because these releases would not have happened if the events that have taken place since January 3rd had not occurred. That's a fact, but that's the nature of the newspaper. Are you afraid? For Venezuelan society to mobilize and express its voice in a civic way, which is what we have seen in every corner of Venezuela where Venezuelans are arriving. But let me tell you something, they won't stop you, there's no turning back, they won't stop you. Juan Pablo, who now that Perkins becomes a prisoner in his own home, becomes a symbol of the struggle. Far from scaring us or silencing us, they give us more reasons to keep mobilizing. And no, this doesn't affect my return in the slightest, quite the opposite. I have told them clearly that I have some tasks to complete before coming back, and once we achieve those goals, I will be back in Venezuela.
Some tasks to complete, says Maria Corina. Maria Corina says, I have some tasks to complete. Something that might be cooking up behind the scenes. Some story that we don't know about. Maria Corina is making it very clear. If we take to the streets to protest, they fear us. If they fear us, then we have to keep going. We have to mobilize. Well, then this is the moment, right? Someone in the opposition needs to urge people to take to the streets. We have the coverage of the United States. We have the umbrella of the United States. There won't be any massacres. Let's take to the streets. Donald Trump promised a promising future for the people of Venezuela. He will not allow them to be massacred by the Chavistas. To the streets. Let's ensure Guanipa's experience wasn't for nothing. If just one man in 24 hours has made the regime tremble, imagine thousands and thousands of people for a week. It would be unsustainable for them. When they realize, even in Washington, they'll see that even the Chavistas themselves will come out so they can be thrown out. Maybe that's where we have the key to this whole story. And Osado, meanwhile, kept doing more of the same. The amnesty law is not an amnesty. It's a kind of second chance law. We let you out if you keep quiet, if you don't talk, if you don't say anything. What is the amnesty law? Well, just imagine when they start talking about the issue of torture.
Good afternoon to everyone from the National Directorate. This week, the approval of the National Amnesty Law is expected. In this regard, I want to know what expectations you have as a political leader regarding the repercussions, the impact that this law will have on national life. Also, if you could give us an estimate, I know you already mentioned the number of people who have been released from prison, but once the law is approved, do you have any estimate of how many opposition members might be released? Alongside this, at the beginning of your remarks, you mentioned the meetings with José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero. 17 days ago, the Program for Democratic Coexistence and Peace was created.
We already know who created it. So we already know this is the work of Zapatero, who Diosdado has mentioned, yes. We have to stop squeezing the opposition's throats so much. We have to release them. But if any of them start to stray, back inside they go. This is Zapatero's doing. Zapatero is the one who has said it. Designed the plan of gradually releasing them, not all at once. We're watching day by day how the street signals are going. And people are starting to move around a lot. You start to see protests, and there are protests. We detain them again immediately. We use a bit of light repression, but without drawing too much attention from the United States of America because they're watching us. Is this Zapatero's doing? Everything that's happening right now, there is a plan designed by him.
The meetings continue. How do you see the situation? On one hand, the amnesty law, on the other hand, the Democratic Coexistence and Peace Program. Do you think that this time those deep dialogues could lead to something positive, to the pacification of the country, national stability, and above all, social harmony?
The issue of the amnesty law
is a very interesting thing, a law that has been imposed on them from Washington. Obviously, Zapatero has been shaping it as a gesture of goodwill to buy time. I repeat, to buy time. Many of them will be given an electronic bracelet so they can be tracked at all times and be detained if necessary. If someone gives a conference or a press conference, those who stay there, if they try to escape, will they succeed? Will they be able to speak abroad? I think the vast majority want to stay there. They know it. And Diosdado knows that he still controls the repressive apparatus of the regime, and he's proving it right there. He, along with Delcy, are the ones in charge of controlling the population and the message. Let's see what he says now. Family, we're live right now. 10. February 2026, it's 3:20 in Spain. Please, what time is it? In the country where you are, where you're visiting us from. And super important. Leave your likes, your comments, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 500,000, and it's only possible thanks to you. We share the live stream on social media so more people can come and see all of this, which you can't find anywhere else in detail.
That's not something new. That's not something new. Remember that when the Constituent Assembly of '99 took place, an amnesty law was approved. The strange thing is that the Punto Fijo Pact in 40 years never had time to make that law. To approve an amnesty law to recognize those comrades who fought and took up arms, they didn't have time in 40 years, and it had to be done by the Constituent Assembly, that is the revolution, the Constituent Assembly convened by Hugo Chavez. Wounds that needed to be closed, they didn't have time in 40 years, thank you. Then Commander Chavez, because of the events of 2002, 2003, 2004, approved a law on December 31st. That was the amnesty law, but before that he had granted a pardon that included a number of people and then an amnesty law. On December 31st, but it's not new, President Nicolas Maduro also granted pardons and a law to release people so they could go into politics. The vast majority do it. The vast majority do it. Thank you and always. The one who has taken the initiative has been the Bolivarian Revolution. Always and always, those who have violated that initiative have been the opposition sectors. That's not new either. That's not new.
That means, therefore, that there will never be a different discourse from the one they want. No one will ever be able to express themselves. If you do, they'll jail you, make you disappear, kidnap, or torture you. He's saying it. Of course, nothing's going to change here. Marco Rubio has to take note of this immediately. We have to get it to him. Let him know. It's a complicated situation. Complicated. Marco is trying to prevent a civil war or a guerrilla war inside Venezuela. But there are elements that can no longer continue, and this is one of them. His role. The time of Cabello as a politician ended a long time ago. As an oppressor, he shouldn't have existed. It's time to turn the page. It's time for Cabello to leave the stage.
Thank you, everyone. I'd raise both hands. If I were a congressman, I'd raise both hands. I have no problem with that. Those who don't understand that this country will keep moving forward are the ones who are exposed. I'm not a congressman, but as a leader of the United Socialist Party of Venezuela, I fully support it. And this party has stated it publicly, that as a bloc, it supports the approval of the amnesty law, which has conditions. As I said, it has conditions, or as he said.
Our condition is that you can't speak, you can't protest, you can't express yourself, you can't do politics, you can't demand rights and freedoms for other political prisoners. You can't say that there should be coexistence, a democracy in Venezuela.
Comrade President, Acting President, those who can and those who can't be here, I was saying that they look very nice. The opposition groups defending drug traffickers look very sweet, they do. Or murderers. Or those who called for invasions against our country? That's right, or those who tried to assassinate President Nicolas Maduro. It's public knowledge and in the media with drones. Did they blow up the drones? Or those who planted the bomb for Danilo Anderson, real angels? Who planted a bomb for Danilo Anderson, right? Angels. They look so sweet asking for those people. It has reach and limitations.
Saying that Guanipa is a terrorist? Thank you for what you're saying. Guanipa is a terrorist.
All amnesty laws state that in order to benefit from that law, someone must have submitted themselves to the law. It's one of the things that's there. If you don't submit to the law, how can you benefit from something you don't recognize?
I think the mistake here, or the wrong approach that's being taken, is that this is a matter of strategy opinions. They can't grant amnesty to someone who isn't a criminal. That is, the people who are in prison related to this issue. There were more than 1,000 at one point. Now there are fewer. Thank God. They are being granted a process within the judicial process, which is collective pardon. In this case, for a crime, the crime most of them are accused of is, we don't know which one, a kind of national terrorism, referred back to as insurrection. There are a number of things they like to say a lot here. Of course, this is false. People who should be free are being released. I mean, I'm a kidnapper. I kidnap. Then I say I'm going to release you because I forgive you, but you're the victim. That is to say, the criminal is forgiving the victim, not the victim forgiving the criminal. I'm not sure if this point is coming across clearly, because I think the meaning he's trying to give to all of this is that we're using a tool within our Constitution to forgive crimes, but it is a crime. You have to give two but go. The Guanipa did what he did 24 hours ago. Go out to the street, say freedom. If that's a crime, then we have a problem. The United Nations, as always, has looked the other way. We already know that. They've never really wanted to get fully involved with the issue of Venezuela. Now, who has to get involved? It's clear that it's Marco Rubio fully involved. We also have breaking news. Another narco-terror boat has been destroyed. We have video. We'll see it in a few minutes.
But anyway, it's part of this ongoing discussion. The amnesty law is being discussed out on the streets. They're discussing it right now. I think they were going to Zulia, right? Every state is discussing, but Jorge said he was heading to Zulia. Okay. They're in discussions. The spaces of the National Assembly were open so that the proposal could be discussed. And of course, we agree with both hands. We raise our hands on the issue of coexistence and reconciliation. And the presence of Rodriguez Zapatero, well, President Rodriguez Zapatero has shown considerable appreciation for our people. Some people don't like that. In very difficult times, the voice of Rodriguez Zapatero has been heard calling for peace and non-interference in Venezuelan territory. He came here. Our acting president welcomed him. Rodriguez Zapatero will always be welcome in this land.
He is always a partner. He is a partner. He is a partner. He is a partner in all of this. The one who let suitcases go through Madrid, plus Ultra case, Air Europa case. Zapatero has been a partner of all these people. He is a key link. The apparatus, the one from Venezuela, from Chavista, Venezuela, has gone through Zapatero's hands. He is the whitewasher.
The fixer. and the spaces for living together. I don't know how many times President Nicolas Maduro called for dialogue, but if we were to count them, it would be a huge number. What happens is that some people confuse dialogue with capitulation, so what do they think? Don't sign here, sign here. What are we going to talk about? Well, what are your arguments? Elections have to be won.
So let's call for them. Let's call for elections with international protection, where international security is deployed. At the polling stations where the ballot boxes are protected, where there are official external supervisors, where full monitoring exists, like in Honduras, but also there should be military protection so that people can freely access the polls to vote. Why don't you do it? Like this? Let's see what happens. Are you not convinced Venezuelans support you? Then shut him up. Shut up all of us who say that you are right now a great minority, not to say almost non-existent.
Win it, say non-existent. And here the debate has to do with the few, but very few. Liz, very few who want violence in our country, even opposition groups that were once on the side of those violent groups. Today they turn their faces.
They are Liz. Guillaume. They talk, they take out here, they are if that's what he represents as opposition, Capriles. Thank you.
They realize there are no bombs, only Chavista killers. And they sadly realized it because of the facts. We've said it countless times. There are no bombs, only Chavista killers and the violent groups who called for bombings in Venezuela.
That's not true. Maria Corina said that she didn't make the decisions that a sovereign country like the United States had to make about an issue like drug trafficking. She didn't officially ask the United States to enter Venezuela.
They want others to do the work for them. That means winning an election fairly. Every day that becomes harder and harder for them, because if these events have served any purpose, these sad, unfortunate events of January 3rd, it's to strengthen national unity, and so that people already have. It was a great national consensus, peace and tranquility, and I think today it's even more so.
Yes, they say it's even more so. Well, let's see. I've been national unity. There it is. That's the union. The business is falling apart everywhere. Before, the goal was to control all the routes. Now the goal is to survive. Anyway. But what do the people of Venezuela say? An event that has nothing to do with the liberation, nor with Guanipa. A kind of parade. What do the people say and what have they given you? Let's go see it. Consider what people say and what they've given you. They throw paint at him. They start yelling at him. They start smearing Maduro. Ultimately, they must remove the float from the parade. In the parade, they take Maduro's float away because they're shouting, out, 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 and you're not coming back anymore. Maybe. Maybe I've given you maybe. This is the town.
Neither Chavez lives nor Maduro returns.
Nor Maduro returns.
That's right. And can you join one of them soon? Both titles. The one about returns or lives. And have you been given? The drones are there. They're there for a reason. How great Juanito is.
Venezuela has the right to be a free country. Venezuela has the right to be a democratic country. Venezuela has the right to breathe institutionalism, to breathe the rule of law. That there are rules and that we are all obliged to follow them, and the first ones who have to follow the rules are those who are in power, who today are illegitimately in power. They are in power because they disrespected the result of the electoral process and because people took to the streets to protest. They put them in prison, and many were imprisoned even before that electoral process. That's why at this moment the main thing is to achieve the release of all political prisoners. We demand freedom for each and every political prisoner. Even a single hour in prison without having committed any crime is a profound act of injustice. Now imagine what 2 hours, 10 hours, a month, a year, 2 years mean. That cannot keep happening in this country. That's why we demand the freedom of each and every political prisoner. And that's why we demand that this country begin a great process of democratic transformation, so that we can say how good it is to live in Venezuela, how good it is to live with rules, how good it is to be a democratic country, how good it is to be a free country. Long live Venezuela.
Because of this,
they put Guanipa in jail. Because of this, for asking for freedom, what you're seeing, for asking for freedom. What does Delcy say about this? Because this, she hasn't said anything. She hasn't said whether she supports what Diosdado is doing. If she's the one who signed this, she went to visit a food processing plant.
What my parents taught us was to work, and at 14 they put us to work. My parents are Portuguese. Yes, they taught us to work, and at 14 years old we realized it. What were the demands of the consumer? What were the demands of the Venezuelan palate? And that's why our slogan is, we know what you like. Because we were deli workers, we started from there.
Well, very good, Elvi. Look, last year, 2025, we were reviewing with the Vice President of Economy, Calixto Ortega, and with the Minister of Food, their contribution to growth.
That is her. Well, let's see.
The growth in consumption in January 2026 was more than 32% higher compared to January 2025.
He hasn't said anything about Guanipa, has he? She wants to stay out of it. This has been something Diosdado did on his own. She knows, and they've told her in the United States, if you get involved in this issue, you're going to end up implicated. The best thing is for you to step aside now and let Diosdado take him out of the way. The United States. Which means that within the regime, within what we're seeing right now, there's a serious problem. A pretty serious, pretty grave problem. It's a problem of control. Who really has the power in Venezuela? It's something dangerous because it's a very big country. And what if Rodriguez isn't able to control Diosdado? Cabello is no good to us. Thank you. Or do we remove Cabello from the equation? On the part of the United States or on the part of Delcy, well, this isn't going to work. Last night it was Guanipa. Today it could be anyone. Tomorrow someone else. It's just the same. It's the same. It's the same story. There's no difference with this issue, right? It's a very serious issue for Delcy not to have come out and said something. It's serious. Thank you. Quite serious. And also worrying, without a doubt. A lot of people are worried, us first, that Guanipa or others might be in danger. Some, luckily, have managed to leave Caracas, and, well, they're in a more rural area where the regime doesn't have as much control. But those who have stayed in Caracas, thank you. There could be problems there, serious problems, you know. Problems. I imagine that the United States will want to carry this out behind the scenes, not publicly. They'll want to have Diosdado disappear one day. But I see that even within the same regime, there is a power struggle that will end up destroying them. And worst of all, the ones who will end up paying for it are the people of Venezuela. They keep riding their motorcycles, taking pictures, and keep looking for new victims. Diosdado. Do you think they haven't changed, or that he didn't get what happened? Number 3. It seems like he didn't understand this, or he doesn't remember, or he has a bad memory, or I don't know. I think the time has come, or number 2, to make it clear to you what today's story is about. The United States. Also today, precisely today, the United States carried out a raid on a ship that had left Venezuela, that was already sailing far from Venezuela, but that had been followed from a distance. They made a stop to search it and so on. I'll show you the video. There it is, right? This is the one with the destroyed boat. Sorry, my mistake. Let's see about the assault on a tanker, which we don't know if they've taken it or not. There it is. Officially, the United States of America have seized this vessel. The Department of War said that United States forces boarded the vessel Aquila II during the night without resistance after tracking it from the Caribbean to the Indian Ocean. According to the department, the ship was operated in violation of President Donald Trump's quarantine about sanctioned vessels. It was intercepted within the area of responsibility of the United States Indo-Pacific Command, United States of America. He was there, farther than the Caribbean Sea. Now, they are going to pursue these ships anywhere in the Indian Ocean, in the Mediterranean, in the North Atlantic. It's clear. The situation is what it is. Thank you. Worrying, but the United States keeps doing its thing. Is that so? Well, family, I hope you enjoyed this live stream. If so, please leave us your likes and your comments. Thank you so much. And I want to show you something. If you're enjoying the stream, I want to show you something that I think is worth it, and also quite a lot. You already know that soon we're going to start something that everyone has been asking us for by email and other means of communication. Strategies. We want to see it now. We have to see it now. Please show it. What happened in El Salvador? Well, here we are.
That's right. Most likely this is yes, thank you.
Ah, these are the remains of a shootout.
It happened here years ago.
You have killed 2 people.
We have seen them involved in multiple crimes because of belonging to what we are.
But have you ever killed anyone?
Yes, I have been involved in homicide. I have been in prison for aggravated homicide.
This is incredible, huh? Incredible. They're amazing, huh? Real professionals. Well, and this was what we're seeing here. This is the boat, the narco submarines that will tell you the story about, some of them huge, bigger than a boat or a yacht, captured by El Salvador. Value.
This is incredible, huh? Incredible.
The Tridente Special Naval Operations Team. In their daily exercise of capturing narco-terrorists. You will see all of this soon, right here. On Military Strategies, you will get to know in detail how the Navy operates and how they fight against crime. Family, where are your likes? See you soon. Take care. Military Strategies, music.